Death row. The very words evoke a chilling sense of finality, a stark reminder of the ultimate punishment society can inflict. From the sterile cells of the United States to the secretive prisons of North Korea, death row reflects the complex interplay of cultural values, legal systems, and human rights. In some nations, death row is a place of prolonged waiting, a liminal space between life and death, where inmates grapple with the weight of their impending execution. The death penalty itself, often seen as a relic of a bygone era, continues to spark heated debates about its morality, effectiveness, and impact on human dignity. This exploration delves into the harrowing realities of death row around the world, shedding light on the lives of those condemned to die and the systems that hold them captive. Prepare to confront uncomfortable truths, challenge your own beliefs, and grapple with the profound ethical questions raised by the ultimate punishment. The United States, a beacon of democracy and individual rights, stands as a complex figure in the global landscape of capital punishment. Within its borders, a patchwork of laws and protocols governs the use of capital punishment, resulting in a diverse and often contradictory approach to death row. In states where the death penalty is legal, those sentenced to death face a unique and harrowing reality. After conviction, they are often transferred to high-security prisons, segregated from the general population and subjected to stringent regulations. Their days are marked by limited human contact, restricted movement, and the ever-present knowledge that their lives could end with a lethal injection. Despite the gravity of their situation, death row inmates in the United States are afforded certain rights and privileges. They have access to legal representation, albeit often overburdened and underfunded, to appeal their sentences and challenge their convictions. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you. Saudi Arabia, a nation governed by Sharia law, stands as a stark example of the uncompromising application of capital punishment. The kingdom carries out a high number of executions each year, often for offenses that would not warrant the death penalty in other parts of the world. The crimes punishable by death in Saudi Arabia encompass a wide range, from murder, rape, and armed robbery, to drug trafficking, adultery, and apostasy. The methods of execution are equally varied, with beheading by sword being the most common, often carried out in public squares as a chilling reminder of the consequences of transgressing the law. The lack of transparency surrounding death penalty cases further exacerbates these concerns, as trials are often held in secret and information about executions is tightly controlled. Reports from former inmates and human rights groups paint a grim picture of overcrowded cells, inadequate medical care, and routine abuse at the hands of guards. Japan, a nation known for its technological prowess and cultural sophistication, contrasts sharply with its approach to capital punishment. The death penalty in Japan is rare and shrouded in secrecy, creating a unique and taxing experience for those condemned. Death row is a place of profound isolation and uncertainty. Inmates are held in solitary confinement, cut off from the outside world and often unaware of their execution until just hours before. The justice system, lauded for efficiency, faces criticism for its lack of transparency. Families are often notified only after the fact, adding to their anguish. Despite grim realities, there are glimmers of hope for reform. China, a system shrouded in silence. China, the world's most populous nation, also holds the grim distinction of having the highest number of executions each year. The Chinese government considers information about the death penalty a state secret, making it difficult to obtain accurate statistics and details about the country's use of capital punishment. The range of crimes punishable by death in China is vast, encompassing offenses such as murder, drug trafficking, corruption, and economic crimes. The Chinese legal system, while undergoing reforms, still faces criticism for its lack of transparency, due process guarantees, and the widespread use of torture to extract confessions. Reports from former inmates and human rights groups paint a grim picture of overcrowded cells, inadequate medical care, and routine abuse at the hands of guards. Somalia and Belarus, echoes of instability and iron fists. In the tumultuous landscape of international justice, Somalia and Belarus stand out as stark examples of how political instability and authoritarian regimes can exacerbate the harsh realities of death row. Somalia, ravaged by decades of civil war and plagued by lawlessness, presents a particularly grim example. The country's fragile justice system, often lacking due process and fair trial guarantees, has been criticized for its use of the death penalty for a wide range of offenses, including murder, terrorism, and even adultery. Belarus, often referred to as Europe's last dictatorship, stands as a stark anomaly in a continent that has largely turned away from capital punishment. The lack of transparency surrounding death penalty cases and the government's tight control over information make it difficult to assess the true extent of capital punishment in Belarus. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us bring more important stories to light. Indonesia and India, a complex tapestry of justice. Indonesia and India, two of the world's most populous democracies, present a complex and evolving approach to capital punishment. Indonesia, home to the world's largest Muslim population, has seen a resurgence in the use of the death penalty in recent years, particularly for drug-related offenses. The country's stance on capital punishment has drawn criticism from international human rights organizations who argue that it violates international law and fails to deter crime. India, with its ancient legal traditions and diverse religious beliefs, has a more nuanced approach to capital punishment. While the death penalty remains legal for offenses such as murder, terrorism, and waging war against the state, its use is relatively rare. Despite these safeguards, concerns remain about the fairness and transparency of death penalty trials in India. North Korea, a reign of terror and public executions. North Korea, one of the world's most isolated and repressive regimes, uses the death penalty as a tool of terror and control. Led by Kim Jong-un, the government maintains an iron grip on society, disregarding international norms and human rights. Crimes punishable by death include murder, treason, distributing foreign media, practicing religion, or attempting to defect. Public executions instill fear and obedience within the population. Reports from defectors and human rights organizations reveal arbitrary arrests, torture, and summary executions. Egypt and the UAE, contrasting facades of justice. Egypt and the United Arab Emirates, two Arab nations navigating the complex geopolitical landscape of the Middle East, present contrasting approaches to capital punishment. Egypt, a nation grappling with political instability, economic challenges, and a legacy of authoritarian rule, has witnessed a surge in the use of the death penalty in recent years. The Egyptian government's crackdown on dissent, targeting political opponents, activists, and alleged terrorists, has resulted in a sharp increase in death sentences, often handed down in mass trials criticized for their lack of due process. The UAE, known for its modern infrastructure, economic prosperity, and strict social codes, presents a more complex picture. While the country maintains the death penalty for a range of offenses including murder, drug trafficking, and blasphemy, its use is relatively rare. Despite these safeguards, concerns remain about the fairness and transparency of death penalty trials in the UAE. The moral crossroads, debating the death penalty. The death penalty, a deeply divisive issue, ignites passionate debates about morality, justice, and the role of the state in taking a life. Advocates argue that capital punishment serves as a just retribution for heinous crimes, deters future offenses, and provides closure for victims' families. Opponents counter that the death penalty is inherently cruel and unusual, risks executing the innocent, and perpetuates a cycle of violence rather than promoting healing and rehabilitation. They point to the irreversible nature of capital punishment, stressing that even with safeguards, the risk of executing an innocent person is unacceptable. Moreover, critics argue that the death penalty disproportionately impacts marginalized communities, exacerbating existing inequalities in the justice system. Studies have shown that the death penalty does not deter crime any more effectively than life imprisonment without parole, and some research suggests that it may even lead to an increase in violent crime. A call for humanity, upholding dignity in the face of death. As we confront the stark realities of death row around the world, it becomes imperative to remember the human beings at the center of this complex and often contentious issue. Regardless of their crimes, those condemned to die deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and a recognition of their inherent humanity. The death penalty, in its finality, extinguishes not only a life but also the potential for redemption, rehabilitation, and reconciliation. Let us strive to create a world where the sanctity of life is paramount, where every individual is afforded dignity and respect, and where justice is pursued not through vengeance but through compassion, understanding, and a commitment to the transformative power of restorative justice. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us continue to bring important stories to light.